Your brain won't turn off, not because something is wrong with you, because something is right with you. And it's been trying to get your attention for a very long time. You just never learned how to hear it. It's late, maybe 1 a.m., maybe 2. You're not doing anything, just lying there, running the same conversation through your head. One from earlier today, or maybe one that hasn't even happened yet. Running the simulation of how it could go wrong. And the worst part? You already know you're doing it. You can watch yourself overthink. You just can't stop. So you wake up the next morning exhausted, not from the day, but from the effort it takes just to exist inside your own skull. You've tried the breathing, the apps, the journaling. You've meditated, you've read the books, you've done the therapy. You've watched 100 videos exactly like this one. And some of it helps, for a while, but the anxiety always comes back. And somewhere in the back of your mind, a thought has started forming that you haven't said out loud. What if this is just who I am? That question costs more than it seems. Because once you believe the anxiety is you, not something happening to you, but something you fundamentally are, you stop looking for the reason. You just try to survive it. But here's what nobody tells you about why it keeps coming back. You believe anxiety is the enemy. You've been told to manage it, reduce it, get it under control. And you also believe, somewhere deeper than all of that you want to be someone who faces hard things, someone who shows up fully, someone who lives. But you can't hold both of those at the same time. The moment you make not feeling anxious the goal of your life, you've organized your entire existence around one thing: avoidance. Avoid the discomfort. Avoid the uncertainty. Avoid the situation that might trigger the feeling. And avoidance, quiet, reasonable, well-intentioned avoidance, is the exact engine that keeps anxiety alive. Every time you escape the feeling, your brain learns one thing: that situation was dangerous enough to flee, and next time it activates sooner, louder, faster. You've been trying to put out a fire with more fire, not because you're doing something wrong, because no one told you the anxiety was never the problem. By the end of this, you won't have a new coping strategy. You'll have a completely different understanding of what anxiety actually is, what it's doing, why it keeps showing up, and what it's been pointing at all along. And once you see it, you won't be able to unsee it. Before we go further, there's one specific thing that people with high anxiety almost always do when the anxiety spikes, and it's the exact thing that guarantees it comes back stronger. I'll tell you what it is in a few minutes. Here's what anxiety actually is, not the clinical version. Forget the DSM. Anxiety is your nervous system saying, something here matters to you and you don't feel safe with how it might go. That's it. It's not a random malfunction. It's not a chemical imbalance firing off for no reason. It's a system, an ancient, highly sophisticated system that was built over millions of years to do one thing: keep you alive by alerting you to unresolved threat. The problem isn't that the system is broken. The problem is that your brain cannot tell the difference between a predator and an unanswered email. It detects unresolved tension in a relationship, in your career, in who you're becoming, in something you've been avoiding looking at. And it does the only thing it knows how to do. It sends the signal: pay attention. Something here needs resolution. And what do most people do with that signal? They try to turn it off. They breathe through it, distract themselves from it, talk themselves out of it, treat the alert like noise, and do everything they can to make it stop. But the signal doesn't stop because you silence it. It gets louder because the thing it's pointing at is still there. Think about it this way. Imagine your check engine light comes on. You could tape over it. You could practice acceptance around it. You could see a therapist about how the light makes you feel. The car still has the problem. Anxiety is your check engine light, and most of us have been so focused on the light, managing it, hating it, trying to dim it, that we never asked the only question that actually matters: what is it pointing at? Here's the myth that keeps most people stuck. Every mental health resource, every app, every well-meaning friend will tell you, just sit with the anxiety. Don't fight it. Observe it without judgment. That advice is correct, And for most people, it doesn't work. Here's why. When you sit with anxiety, hoping it will pass, you're not accepting it. You're waiting it out, watching it, wishing it would leave. There's a difference. Waiting it out is still fighting it. It's just slower and more polite. Real acceptance isn't patience, it's curiosity. It's asking, what is this actually about? Not with the goal of making it stop, but with genuine interest in what your nervous system is trying to show you. The moment you shift from controlling your anxiety to listening to it, everything changes. Here's the smaller one, and it might surprise you. Most people believe their anxiety is about what they're anxious about. It almost never is. The panic about the work email isn't about the email. The 2 a.m. spiral about that conversation isn't about the conversation. Those are just the nearest available targets, the most recent surface for something much older to attach to. Anxiety almost always traces back to a deeper, older belief, something about safety or worthiness or control, something that was there long before this particular trigger existed. Jake was 31, 3 years of managing his anxiety. The app, the journaling, the weekly therapy. His therapist said he was making real progress, but every time a work email came in after 6 p.m., his chest tightened. He'd spend the next 2 hours drafting responses in his head, not because he needed to reply, just because not knowing felt unbearable. He called it the dread. One evening, he sat in a grocery store parking lot, chest tight, couldn't go in. And instead of doing his breathing exercise, he just sat there. He asked himself, not to fix anything, just as a genuine question, what am I actually afraid of here? Not the emails, not the store. He let it come. After about 15 minutes, something surfaced, clear and quiet, like it had been waiting a long time to be heard. I'm afraid that no matter what I do, it will never be enough. Not the email, not the parking lot, the deepest thing. He went inside, got his groceries, and for the first time in 3 years, the dread didn't follow him in. So, what is that one thing people with high anxiety almost always do that makes it worse? They negotiate with it. If I can just get through this week, I'll relax. Once I fix this one thing, the anxiety will stop. As soon as this situation is resolved, I'll feel okay. The perpetual bargain. Anxiety as a toll booth you have to pass through before you're allowed to live. But here's the problem with that bargain. As long as you're treating anxiety as the obstacle between you and your life, there will always be something else to resolve. The toll booth never closes because you never proved to yourself that you could move while the anxiety was still present. The negotiation itself is the signal. It tells your nervous system, this isn't safe yet. Wait, not yet. And your brain, trying to protect you, keeps the alert running. Here's the layer most people never reach. Anxiety doesn't just protect you from external threat, it protects you from yourself, specifically from the version of you that would have to show up if you stopped waiting to feel ready. Because as long as anxiety is the reason you're not fully living, not fully committing, not fully trying, not fully showing up, you never have to find out what happens if you try your best and it still doesn't work. The anxiety is keeping you safe from that question. And that question, what if I try and it's still not enough, is almost always the thing at the bottom. That's worth sitting with. You didn't come here tonight because something was wrong with you. You came here because you are exhausted from fighting something that won't stop. Now you know why it won't stop. It was never the enemy. Anxiety is your nervous system doing exactly what it was built to do, flagging unresolved tension, pointing at things that matter to you, things that feel unsafe, things you haven't fully let yourself look at yet. Fighting it is like fighting a compass because you don't like the direction it's pointing. The direction is information. You don't silence it, you read it. 3 things this week, not someday, this week. Step 1, when it spikes, ask the real question. Not, how do I make this stop? What is this actually pointing at? Give yourself 2 minutes. Write whatever surfaces. Don't analyze it. Don't fix it. Don't argue with it. Just let the answer come. The first thing that arrives is almost always true. Your nervous system has been trying to tell you something. This is how you start listening. Step 2, separate the trigger from the source. The email, the conversation, the situation, that's the trigger. The anxiety is never really about that. Ask yourself, is there a deeper version of this fear that's been with me longer than this situation? There usually is. Name it out loud or write it down. Naming it specifically, clearly, reduces its charge immediately. Not because naming magically fixes it, because your nervous system finally feels heard. The signal can ease up when it knows you received the message. Step 3. Stop negotiating. Move anyway. Pick one thing you've been waiting to feel ready for, one thing you've been putting on the other side of the toll booth. Do it this week, not when the anxiety is gone, but with the anxiety present. Not because the anxiety is wrong about everything, because you are the one who decides what moves. The anxiety can come with you, it just doesn't get to drive. You didn't come here tonight because something was wrong with you. You came here because your brain won't stop, and some part of you, even through the exhaustion, kept looking for a different way through. That part of you was right. You weren't broken. You were trying to silence something that was asking to be heard, and now you know the difference. You're not someone who has anxiety. You're someone who is learning to listen to what anxiety has been trying to say all along. That's not a small thing. If something here shifted, stay. There's more.